That doesn't mean that your thing can't contribute.
Well, that was one of our things. How could we connect a book series into almost any TV show? And that was one thing we tried tackling. It's quite difficult, but it was a lot of fun. I really like it. I think spiritual people will like it, but I think conspiracy theorist people will like it, and I think just people who like sci-fi and fantasy would enjoy it. So, but I'm not publicizing. I swear to God, I'm just trusting the universe. I met you. I'm telling you because you're saying that you may have to look into other ideas. I have some, if you need.
No, well, I'm just what I'm saying is like trust, right? Trust in the universe.
Yes.
I went through a couple dark days where I felt stabbed in the heart that this Kickstarter didn't happen. But then, I have to put things in perspective. 1 million people have 1 million projects. What makes mine more important?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from this experience. From where I should do it or where I shouldn't do it, and if I were to dwell in the failure or the perceived failure of it all, then I wouldn't be able to continue. We are going to continue with this project.
Oh, I know.
We are continuing with this project. It's not like we're dead in the water now.
No, we're not. I mean, the whole point of this interview is to get a buzz of some sort, saying, "Look, this is something for real. It's not something like the shadow people who are going to manipulate stuff. It's it's legit. It's creative, and I feel it's needed."
Definitely. There are networks that are interested. It's not like we haven't talked to the networks. We have. I talked to the guy at Netflix that's in charge of commissioning all their new scripted original content. Okay. He's interested. He just doesn't know enough about Tesla to imagine how we're going to turn it into an ongoing series.
Oh, well, hopefully.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean.
So it's a long process, right? So, yeah. And then Fox is interested.
That's cool.
And I know from Fred that NBC is interested.
NBC?
HBO is potentially interested. We haven't talked to them, but there's high potential there. Why? Because the Game of Thrones is shot in Croatia.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and Embassy Films that does that is the service production company in Croatia are all Tesla fanatics. So they're a gateway right into HBO. HBO is notoriously hard to get into. They don't go to these, festivals like I went to. They don't have their top executives at those types of things. So they're tougher, right? But Fred's Fred.
Yeah.
He can make a few calls and then suddenly he's talking to the right guy. But we're not ready to do that. We need to develop the script.
Wow.
That's what this whole thing was about.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure if I could convey that information in a way that was, agreeable, which I failed at doing.
No, you didn't fail.
Oh, no, I did. I mean, you have to do things in a way that works. And I chose a format that was innovative but wasn't proven.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously I chose the wrong path. So I have to regroup and I have to do it a different way. And, I don't know when we'll relaunch, but at some point we'll probably will. Now, whether we'll focus in on the TV series or if we'll make it a focus as we're doing the graphic novel, because it kills two birds with one stone, but then at least you can focus on a market that isn't going to reject the proposal and the project on the basis of philosophical reasons, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're just talking about young people or people who like to consume very attractive looking, very unusual stories in a graphic novel format. Or because I wanted to see, I believed, that Tesla people would get behind it. Because I'm a Tesla person and I'm 1,000% behind it. I was disappointed, so be it. Doesn't mean I lose faith.
No, definitely not.
This is the thing. Faith should not be dependent on success.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's not faith, right? That's not faith.
No, it's not.
And so I have faith, and hopefully that will penetrate through the obstacles.
I think it's there. I think it's just well, I don't know. Like they said, things have to come together, and these little things here and there, they'll come together. I think it's time. I don't think it matters anymore as far as who wants it or not. I think it's time, and it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
There are other groups out there that are working on it. I mean, I went to New York, for example, and went to the Tower to the People debut, and I met a lot of people there. The guy Joseph Sikorsky has a movie about Tesla that he wants to do. It's a feature film. They're budgeted at $4 million. I don't know if they have backing or not, but it's something. He's a good director. He would probably do a pretty good job. Mm-hmm. It's not the format I want to see, because I want to see it blown up into a much more mainstream, big event type of thing. But that's how I like it. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that it isn't good if he does it first as a film. I think it would be great. I think there's room for many Tesla projects. As you're pointing out, there's lots of reference to him already. But I think it would be great if there were multiple ones.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
You
can go anywhere, I mean,
you can go anywhere with it. You can go so many places.
For God's sakes, I don't know. I'm sure the Tesla files know about this, but the average person, I don't know. Time travel is a theory that connects with Tesla in such a strong way in supposedly our reality. So
who you got to interview is this Aaron guy from the project that we mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I know. What's the name? Aaron. What was the name of him?
Yeah, I'm gonna find it for you here. It's
because I think he's talked to me a few times actually.
Yeah, he's a guy who's practical and is building these devices and has a very strong understanding of what Tesla was talking about when he was discussing time travel and also faster than the speed of light. Okay. So Aaron Murakami, which is Aaron Murakami, Murakami. Now, he did an interview with me on his blog.
Okay.
It also didn't. He has a pretty strong Tesla following. It also didn't translate into any dollars. But as he said to me after with the fact, they love the project. So he's getting lots of feedback from people from his newsletters and his followers, his RSS feed, saying they love the project. But that's not translating into any dollars on Kickstarter. So it was just the wrong market. Anyway, point is, Aaron, again? You got to talk to this guy. You got to do a long interview and let him explain to you how these things work.
What's his name again?
Aaron Murakami. So Aaron.
Aaron. Okay.
Murak.
Okay.
Ami.
Okay.
Yeah. You anybody out there who's interested in people who are practically building devices and actually doing this stuff and trying to advance the technology. They even raised some money on Indiegogo to build one of the devices that is based on Tesla technology, and they're doing it. I haven't physically seen it. He's invited me to come to any one of 3 locations to see demonstrations. I haven't been able to organize it yet because it was just literally in the last 2 weeks that happened. But I'm excited because if it happens in front of me, then I can take that off the list.
Well, yeah, and you could even, if he let you, take a video of it and post it right on the campaign and be like, "Look, guys."
I'm not so worried about that. What I'm interested in is having practically working devices on set as set props.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't think about that. That's good.
That's what I'm interested in.
Nice.
That's where he and I connected, and that's why he's excited by our project and why he was a strong supporter. He can see that connection as well. But, even within the Tesla for instance, at this event, one of the board members of the Tesla Science Center, so this organization who is just by happenstance, by providence, become the center of this Tesla archive and heritage through the restoration of Wardenclyffe and the opening of a Tesla Science Museum there. Mm-hmm. He emphatically does not believe wireless free energy exists, despite the fact somebody went up during the event and demonstrated it in a small-scale format in front of everybody. He demonstrated the principle of wireless electricity, but they were plugged into the wall, so they didn't have it plugged into the earth.
Okay.
Which is why he doesn't believe it. Nevertheless, wireless transmission of electricity occurred.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
But the source of it wasn't the Earth or the ionosphere, it was the plug in the wall. So, yeah, so there's still this, even within the people who are sort of entrusted by the universe, and this is why sometimes it's hard to have faith, they also don't even believe in it. It's not that it needs to believe in it. The technology exists. It just needs to be demonstrated.
Yeah, it's not like a myth. That's what's so funny. It's like, oh yeah, one day. No, it's here. It's happening. It's people are doing it.
Look outside. Why is the sky blue? Well, believe it or not, the reason the sky is blue was explained by a scientist in 1765 that Tesla was very, very attracted to and was one of his not mentors, but the people he looked up to and read was one of the inspirations for a lot of his technology. And I wish I could remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but for whatever reason I can't. Anyway, he was one of the first people to explain why the sky is blue, and it relates to the trapping of positive charge electrons in the ionosphere, which is what helped Tesla make the leap into understanding that there was an ionosphere that was interaction with solar wind, rotating the Earth. Every day you wake up and look outside, the sky is blue because the Earth is a free energy machine.
Oh, man.
And it's trapping these particles into an atmosphere that allows, I don't know, there's science behind it that I can't explain. I'm not good at translating it. But the point is you can read this stuff for yourself. And you can see that the energy is free. It's free energy.
It wasn't Rudolf Steiner, was it?
No.
Okay.
Man, I want to find this for you. Oh, I know where to find it.
He's another fantastic. There's so many people in history I found that are like just lost to everyone. Rudolf Steiner I found to be simply amazing as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I swear though, I still haven't found a connection where they met, Tesla and Rudolf, but I think it's possible. Oh, it's more than possible. But
okay, so the name of the scientist is Roger Boscovich. Doesn't sound like much, but if you look him up on Wikipedia, you'd be amazed. Roger Joseph Boscovich. He was a physicist and astronomer. He lived from the 18th of May, 1711, and he died in 1787 at the age of 75.
Wow.
He was one of the early physicists, astronomers, mathematicians, philosophers. He was a diplomat, a poet, a theologian, a Jesuit priest as well, and a polymath. He was from the city of Dubrovnik, so obviously we see the Tesla connection. And he was one of the first people to describe why the sky was blue.
Wow.
From a scientific point of view.
And you said he was a Jesuit priest?
Yeah. Jesuit.
Not surprising. Actually, it's not surprising. I've done research on Jesuits, and they are highly intellectual, and they've made actually a lot of advancements for society, whether people know it or not.
So the first page of the figures from his published book, Theoria Philosophae Naturalis, which is the philosophy of nature, which was published in 1763, is a figure. And in that figure is the force curve. Okay, it's called the force curve, which received so much attention from later natural philosophers, such as Michael Faraday, who discovered X-rays, Tesla, Humphrey Davy, Joseph Priestley. So here's a guy that was one of the... Anyway, I got a nice little note from a fella on YouTube where we have our video posted that is on YouTube. It's our video for the Kickstarter campaign.
Okay.
And he made a note. He said, if you put in a tiny bit about Tesla's self-described inspiration, the author Roger Boscovich in his work Theory of Natural Philosophy, then you'll have at least a very important addition about Tesla that nobody else seems to cover. So I'm getting all these little droplets of information and leads, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I see this whole Kickstarter campaign as a bit of a commercial, and it's attracting attention. It's giving me people that are going to be instrumental in making sure that I tell this story right.
Good point.
One way or another. And it's definitely expanding my awareness of Tesla and who Tesla was and who he was inspired by and why. And why Tesla would be looking at nature as opposed to the laboratory for answers.